Hello, welcome to my channel where I do guides for photography. Today we are inside Luminar Neo and we are going to do a couple of shots here. Those shots are shot in the blue hour and we are therefore going to deal with blue colors today. Now it's going to be a very blue tint on these images. But I happen to think that blue hour shots are really nice. I like blue hour shots a lot, maybe more than golden hour shots actually. But yeah, golden hour shots are fine as well. I guess this might be more over to the golden hour, but this is definitely blue hour shot. So we are going to start with that. But before we start, Skylum has a really nice summer sale now. So if, and that's for a lot of products and even sky packs and stuff like that. So if you are interested, you could click the links in the description. If you're already a Skylum user, click the link for that. If you're not a Skylum user, click the link for that. It's both links are in the description. If you buy something, that will support me because I'm an affiliate with Skylum. If you don't want to support me that way, you can of course go directly to skylum.com and buy directly through the homepage there. Anyway, let's just start. So we are going to start with this image, and this image is overexposed because I exposed for the shadows. So that's the reason why it's this bright, but we are of course going to fix that. This is a raw image, so being that this is a raw image, I have different profiles I can select from here. So I'm going to select the camera vivid, and I think that does a lot for this image. I'm going to drop the highlights a lot because it's actually clipped in the highlights, as you can see. And we can drop the exposure just a little bit as well. And I'm going to fix the clipping here with another module later. Anyway, yeah, I think that looks fine. We need to go up on the shadows. And as you can see, of course, it's a bit too blue already. Being that this is a blue hour shot, whenever you go down on the exposure on the blue hour shot, it's going to turn out really blue. So we can fix that later. Now, I think the color temp is fine, but I think maybe go up to 55 Kelvin there. And I really like my blue hour shots to be have the magenta tone as well. Not only blue, but really push it over to magenta. So I'm going to push the tint here. And I'm going up pretty high actually. So up to 22. Yeah, that's fine. And let's add some vibrance and let's drop some saturation to somewhere around there. Yep, I think that's fine as well. Let's drop some white, and I'm going up actually on the exposure again. As I said, I'm going to fix the highlights later. So yeah, something like that. Let's go into optics and select auto distortion corrections and auto fix chromatic aberrations. So that's fine. Okay, so let's go up to enhance AI, and I'm going to push that up quite a bit, and that did a really good job, but it made everything more blue again, but that's fine. I'm going to fix that later. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything for the sky there. So let's go into landscape, and I'm going to add just a bit of golden hour. But whenever you're adding golden hour to a sunset, you need to make sure that it's not starting to get too orangey. In my opinion, that doesn't look good, so be careful whenever using the landscape module. All right, so the next thing, I think maybe some dramatic there. Yeah, and that does a lot for the sky in my opinion, and also the textures down here. So I think we are going to leave that on. So this is without dramatic, and this is with dramatic. I think I like it. Now we could try the mystical, but I think maybe not. It's going to make it too soft. So yeah, no, I don't like it. Now the next thing we could do is to go into super contrast and the highlight contrast. So if I go up on the highlight balance, I'm actually dropping the highlights. So if I go up all the way here, we are introducing or lowering the highlights. If I go the other way, we are brightening the highlights. So I'm going for something like that maybe. I'm also going to check the shadows contrast and maybe go over this way. And I think that's fine. And I think actually now I'm going to drop the exposure just a little bit again here. Yeah, something like that. Let's go into color. That's here. And let's drop the saturation on the blues a bit. So maybe 20 or something. 30. No, that's too much. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe something like this actually. Let's add some magenta or saturation to the magenta. And I'm just going to see if adding some orange will do something for this image. And yeah, I think it looks fine. That's good. And we could go into color harmony and do some color contrast, but I think it's going to be overkill for this image. Let's see here. So this is without the color contrast, and this is with the color contrast. And I think maybe we should have it on, but yeah, not too high on that. And let's drop the exposure. And I think maybe around there. And let's open up the shadows a bit. Something like this. And I'm actually going to drop the overall saturation as well. And some smart contrast. And I think maybe I like it like this actually. Let's have a vignette here. I'm going down on the amount and on the size. Let's check the feather here. Yeah, something like that. Let's just add some inner light. And I think maybe that looks good. I think it's fine actually. And judging by the histogram, we still have a pretty high dynamic image here. So that's good. But I'm not entirely satisfied with the blues here. So maybe go into colors again. And saturation and drop the blues even more. Yeah, that's a lot better. Alright, so the next things I would do on this image, but I'm not going to do it right now because it would take too long. But that's to do some dodge and burn. And I would clean up the dust spots here and straighten the image a bit. We are actually going to do that. So let's try and see. No, that's not what I wanted. Something like that. And yeah, the ratio. Yeah, let's go for a 16:9. And I'm actually going for something like this. Maybe. Yeah, that's fine. So that's this image. Let's see on the timer. Yeah, we can do one more. So let's do this one. And let's go into edit. And I think maybe on this one, I'm not going to change the profile up here, but we are going to add some smart contrast, down the highlights, up the shadows. That looks good. Let's see. Let's activate the clipping warning. Now this is shot directly into the sun, so you are going to see that the highlights are clipped. That's just natural. Whenever you're shooting directly into the sun, you will have clipped highlights. And if you try to recover too much of the highlights, you will, instead of actually recovering details there, you will actually make it into this mess with broken hues. So don't try to recover too much, especially if it's directly into the sun. So if you're shooting directly into the sun, you have to expect that the sun is clipped. That's just the way it is. If not, you have to shoot a HDR, or you have to bracket files and blend the image later. That's something you can do. So in that case, you will expose for the sky or the sun. That would make everything here in the foreground really dark. But if you have a bracketed set, then you can expose for the foreground, and then you can blend those files together, and you will have a correctly exposed sun, and you will have a correctly exposed foreground. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, let's just see here. Let's go up on the vibrance and add some magenta. Woo! That's that was a bit too much. Yeah, something like that. Let's do the optics here. And I think that looks fine. It's a bit too magenta-ish in the foreground. So maybe go down to 14 or something like that. All right, so let's go up and do the enhance AI. And I like that. We could try the sky enhancer, but yeah, it's only targeting the blues here. But yeah, I don't know. Do we need to do that? No. Just a little bit. Just because we can. Let's go into landscape and try the golden hour. And yeah, that looks fine actually. And we can try the dramatic here. And yeah, I kind of like the softness that's without dramatic, and I do like the dramatic as well. So maybe go down and keep the dramatic there. We could try the mystical again, but I think maybe not. I don't even care to try. Let's go into super contrast and do the highlights contrast, and maybe try for highlights balance. And yeah, I don't think it's doing much right now. Yeah, let's try the shadow contrast as well. I think that's fine. All right, so let's do the crop, a 2x1 maybe. Enter custom 2 and 1, hit OK. And yeah, that's quite nice, I think. Something like that. And it seems the horizon is leaning a bit. I'm not sure actually. Yeah, let's leave it there. That's fine. Okay, so that's so far. Let's do a vignette. Choose subject. And let's go down on the amount and the size here. And let's see what it does. Yeah, let's go down a bit more on the amount. And up again on the feather. And I think that's fine. Adding some inner light. And let's go for color harmony and just try color contrast. Yeah, I think maybe that's okay. Maybe down slightly on the exposure and up some on the shadows. Feels like I need some blacks in there. Yeah, okay, so smart contrast. Yeah, that's fine. I think maybe actually some texture structure AI. Let's do that. Yeah, that's fine. That's actually pretty good. And then into raise and remove dust spots. That takes a while, so I'm just going to fast forward here. All right. A bit too saturated for my taste, actually. Yeah. And maybe actually a bit too bright as well. I think, yeah, that's good enough. So this is where we started, and this is where we are at. Still too saturated. So that's the hard thing, to actually back down on the saturation, because it's so tempting to go the other way and add some really amazing colors. But for you, when sitting and working with the image, you might think that looks really awesome. But if you saw the image for the first time like this, you would go, whoa, that's far too much, man, back down. So that's a trap that's easy to go into. So I think maybe I need to drop it all the way down here. Yeah, to there. And the last thing I want to do is to actually do relight AI. So I'm going to increase the depth and decrease the brightness near. And there we are. Yeah, I like that. That did a lot for this image. So yeah, the conclusion here is that no, neither this or this is actually a wall piece. I was hoping I would be satisfied with this one, but I'm not entirely happy about that. So no, that's not a wall piece. But I don't think it's trash too. So it's somewhere in between. Maybe with some more tinkering and some more dodge and burn and figuring out the colors, it would be something good. But I don't think it's not good enough to print out and hang on the wall. Neither is this one. This one is actually closer, but yeah, I'm still not too happy about that one either. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you like the video, hit that like button. If you want to watch more from me, hit that subscribe button. And if there's anything you want to ask me, hit that comments. And yeah, make sure to check out the offers that Skylum are running right now. Maybe you can find something nice. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you again. Goodbye.